everyone. Welcome to another edition of the MAGA Media Podcast. I'm at Small Town Andrew, and I'm here joined with Rob at RobJH1 on Twitter. How are you doing so far today, Rob?
Everything's good.
Excellent. Well, we'll get started into the big news of the week. General Michael Flynn was completely exonerated on Thursday, which was a big surprise for many. The outrage on the left was pretty shocking because I don't know why they would want to see this man who served 33 years in the military go to prison so bad, and they most likely did not even know what he was being charged with. What did you think of General Flynn being cleared, and then the outrage that we've seen from several reporters and pundits?
I think rightfully so. He should have been cleared. We now know that this entire thing was a setup. And not just that, the media is having a complete meltdown over the fact that he was cleared, and they keep referring back to Attorney General Barr. Now, if you remember, when Attorney General Barr decided not to press charges against Andy McCabe and James Comey, the New York Times and all these other liberal publications came out and praised Attorney General Barr. They said, oh, he's doing the right thing, and yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Now that the tables have been turned, they've decided to drop the charges against Michael Flynn. There seems to be this outrage that, oh no, AG Barr is doing Donald Trump's bidding. And Melissa Strauss from the Wall Street Journal came out, I think it was Friday, and she gave commentary, and she said, I think that what everyone needs to realize is that it wasn't Attorney General Barr. He submitted this case to, I think it was Jeff Jepson, who is an attorney general and a former prosecutor for 10 years. He looked at this case and said, there's nothing here. What happened should not have happened. It was a miscarriage of justice. Based upon the evidence, information from the mouths of all these individuals who said that he did commit a crime, he looked at that information. It would be something different had he not looked at their information and not presented that information to us, but just looked at it back base and said, based upon what I'm seeing, and in accordance to the law, there's no there. So you have all these people that are piling in saying, oh my God, this is a miscarriage of justice. And even Barack Obama, apparently in a private meeting with a lot of donors, he was probably being paid to give this meeting, is coming out starting that, well, this shouldn't have happened. It's like, wait a minute, slow down your roll. You didn't say this about Bill Clinton. You didn't say this about your attorney general. So why now are you trying to make it seem as if though what happened with Flynn was wrong? I mean, this is how the liberals spin this stuff. And I think the reason why is because the footsteps of inevitability are coming closer and closer to Barack Obama. So he's freaking out.
Indeed, Rob. Also, another thing I noticed after the General Flynn exoneration is mainstream media did not pick up on the reasons that he got exonerated. All they picked up on was the fact that he pleaded guilty and whatnot. They just made a litany of excuses.
Right.
What did you think of the mainstream media coverage of the General Flynn exoneration this week?
Well, see, that was the other thing, because when you look at it, at face value, I know that there are a lot of people that are having problems with the fact that he did plead guilty. But again, we've got to realize that when you have the FBI pushing against you, pressing you, and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do if you don't do X, Y, and Z, there have been so many people in our criminal justice system, unfortunately, who have pleaded to something that they did not do in order to make it go away, because they know, hey, if this is heard before a jury, based upon what you have, although I know that I'm innocent, it's not going to look good on me, and I'm probably going to get a long sentence. So I'd rather just plead guilty to a lesser charge, and then walk away. So when you have people say, oh, but he pleaded guilty, it's like, right, I hear what you're saying. Okay, but when you're in the moment, I remember back in the day I took a class, I went to a seminar actually, and there was some FBI agents that were there, and they were talking, and this one guy said, he said, whenever an FBI comes to your house, usually they're going to come in the morning when you're getting ready to eat breakfast or right before dinner, and they'll ask you if they can come in. He said, don't let them in unless there's a warrant. because you're not obligated to let them in. Once you do let them in, don't say anything, because anything you say, they'll try and twist it. So clearly this is what happened with Flynn. They told him he didn't need an attorney, so they came in and started questioning him on things that they already had the answer to. So when he's looking at, hey, if you don't plead guilty to this, we're going to arrest your son, we're going to throw your son in jail, your wife in jail. Well, people will say, well, the son is innocent. Right, the son is innocent. But look at what happened to Flynn. I mean, they wanted to say that the son was a foreign agent, that he didn't register, that he was acting on behalf of a foreign country. Now, that's not a big deal. All you have to do is register and you're done. But of course, being the FBI, they could have turned this thing around, and then the son would have been looking at prison term. So what did Flynn do? Okay, I will say that I'm guilty. But what's interesting, and people need to realize, is that they wanted him to flip on Donald Trump. He never did. He never gave them any information. Now, of course, the media would come out and say, oh, he's going to flip now. MSNBC, CNN, they're all, well, he's going to say something. But never once were they able to lie and come out and say that he said anything against Trump or that Trump colluded with Russia. So those are the things that people need to look at. Yeah, it might be troubling that he pleaded guilty, but look at what he was up against. And if anything, I gotta bring this up, if anything, black people, brown people, Hispanic people should know something about this. How many times have your brothers, your sons, or your fathers been railroaded, have to plead guilty for a crime that they did not commit? So if anyone should be able to identify with this, it's black and brown people. Folks, you gotta wake up, because our criminal justice system, as we saw it, the FBI, completely compromised.
No doubt about it, and many say it all started at the top. An article from MAGAmedia.org, Davida Gruber said, quote, Sidney Powell, who is the lead attorney for former National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn, is quite adamant that former President Barack Obama was in on the plot to frame her client. FBI agents had questioned Flynn, insisting that General Flynn did not need a lawyer, and the FBI agents took a casual approach with Flynn. They did not tell him that they were investigating him, and did not warn him that it would be a federal crime to lie during their conversation. This factored into Flynn pleading guilty at first, providing a false statement to FBI agents in regard to his contact with Russian ambassador. But yeah, so it looks like that Barack Obama was in on it from the start. His administration did not have a peaceful transfer of power.
No, not at all.
What do you make of the Obama administration and their transfer of power?
Well, I've long since felt that the Barack Obama administration has something to do with this. And although he came out and he said that, my administration was one of the only administrations that did not have any scandals. And I'm thinking, oh, really? What about Fast and Furious? What about Lewis Lerner? What about Benghazi? What about the Arab Spring? And so on and so on. So for him to come out and say that, it's like, that's not true. And then Sidney Powell even said the other day on Sean Hannity, she said that she felt that it went all the way up to the top to Barack Obama. He had to have known about it. Because what we're hearing now from the documents that are being released is that in January, before President Trump was sworn in, Barack Obama had a meeting with his top advisors. Included in that meeting was James Comey and Sally Yates. And he excused everyone, including Susan Rice and Samantha Powers, and then he questioned James Comey and Sally Yates and said, what is this whole thing about Michael Flynn? And apparently she told the senators when she went in and they were questioning her, she said that she was shocked that Barack Obama knew about the whole Flynn affair. Now, that in itself lets you know that something nefarious was taking place. But of course, she came from behind closed doors and started making the rounds on TV saying, oh no, there was something that was there when there was no there. Now, in addition to that, Trey Gowdy said, I think it was today on the opening bell, he said that right now, he cautioned, he said this to Judge Jane. He said that right now that he sees in the throes of the government Clapper, Brennan, Samantha Powers, and Susan Rice. Now, these are all top people in the Obama administration that could possibly be charged with the crime. So he cautioned everyone about laying this at Barack Obama's feet. Now, granted, Barack Obama had something to do with this. And in my opinion, I don't care if he's black, blue, green, white, or whatever. If you broke the law, okay, Judgment Day should come. But then it begs a question: will the American public be willing and have the stomach to see the first black president brought down? Unfortunately, right now, I don't think so. So he will probably get away with this, not unscathed, because I think that it will come out. And again, what we're looking at are just facts. No one is spinning this. We're just looking at the record. We're looking at the transcript from the conversations that all of these people had with behind closed doors with Adam Schiff and company. And of course, they came back from behind closed doors spinning it a different way, saying, oh yeah, we saw this and we saw that. But now that we see the records, the actual transcript, all these people who came out and said they saw something, they saw absolutely nothing. But what we do know is that Barack Obama was aware of Spygate. So for whom the bell tolls and the footsteps of inevitability are walking fast toward him. But again, will the American public be able to stomach the prosecution of the first black president? And that's deep. That is really deep.
Moving on to this entire Wuhan virus again. Do you think that it's any coincidence that this virus seemed to really come and hit us hard right when President Trump had reached a new trade deal with China? It came right after President Trump got acquitted on impeachment, and it was clear he was not going to be removed from office. Do you think it's possible that this was an attack from China to try and change the balance of power because President Trump's been handing it to him so bad?
Well, at one point I thought that this was something that China had originated, got out of control, and then it started to spread. But then when I go back and I look at history and look at time and look at how things, happen, the virus did originate in China, in Wuhan, without a doubt. American companies have factories that are there. What people, I think, fail to realize is that outside of Beijing and some of the other large cities that in China that we hear a lot about, China is very rural. It's a huge country, and the poverty is unbelievable. China does not care for its citizens, and although Mike Bloomberg says that, President Xi is a president who's trying to satisfy his constituents, no, the guy's a dictator. And unless you're living in the main city, Beijing, he could care less about you. Okay, so I think that the people on the countryside who are being starved, looking for anything to eat, they eat snakes, bats, and rodents, and dogs and cats. And I don't say that as a stereotype. It's at one point I didn't want to believe it, but I've had some associates who happen to be Chinese to say it's true in the rural area. It does happen. So, and I'm going to link this into what you're asking as far as, the timing of all this. So I do believe that something happened in the rural area of China. It got out of control. A doctor found out about it and tried to report it. And I think they stopped him. But by then it had started to spread. And what people have to realize, as I said in our last podcast, is that you have a lot of Chinese that are buying up land in Italy. And I have a tweet about this with Dr. Deborah Birx talking about it, buying up a lot of land in Italy. So they're going backwards and forward. They're sick. They're spreading this virus. Northern Italy is like the fashion capital. They have factories in China, so they go backwards and forward to check on their fashion designs. And then, so it starts to spread. And then we wonder, how did it get to the United States? Well, again, we have these high-tech companies with factories in Wuhan. So they go there checking on things, they get the virus, and they bring it to the United States, bring it to Seattle, Washington. Then someone would say, well, are they eating these animals? Well, not necessarily. They're not eating the bats and the snakes and all these other crazy things. But what is happening is that whomever is eating it, because this virus originated in an animal and then it jumped from one species to the human species. So now the human has it, they're going off coughing and getting sick. If you have some other people that are around them, they get it, then they start bringing it to other places. Now, I've heard that this virus might have been in the States as early as probably November or October. We just don't know. But what we do know is that it did originate in China. Hence, it's the Chinese virus, as the liberal media were referring to it in January. You can check my Twitter, and I have a copy, a video of them calling it the China virus, the Wuhan virus. It did originate there, and then it hopscotched across the globe to us. Now, as far as the timing, if you recall, we learned about it in China in December. And what did our president do? I am going to close the borders. I don't want Chinese coming here until we know what's happening. What did the media do? They got mad. They said he was being a xenophobe. He was being an isolationist. And what else were they doing? Oh, well, they were trying to impeach the president while he was trying to save the country. So while they took their eyes off the ball, this thing just started to spread. So the timing is suspectable. I'm like, But I do believe that China held this back because they wanted to harm not only the U.S. economy, but the global economy. And in retaliation because of the tariffs. Now, someone asked a little smart reporter, or thinking she was smart, asked President Trump, well, do you think now you should pull back the tariffs? And the president goes, pull back for what? This has nothing to do with the virus. We're making a lot of money, and we're going to keep making a lot of money. And I say, that's right, Mr. President. If this is what she thought he was going to accomplish by unleashing this virus on us, you got another thing coming, buddy. This has one thing, has nothing to do with the other. You're going to still pay those tariffs. And again, as I said earlier on in the podcast, bring our jobs home.
Absolutely.
Apple, bring it home. Microsoft, bring it home. All the other countries that have factories that are there building or creating goods, manufacturing jobs, bring them home.
Absolutely.
Now,
yes, it makes no sense for us to be reliant on China still
absolutely
during
no sense.
emergencies like this. It proves how important it is that we do separate from China to a large extent and start
It makes no
building
sense.
stuff
No
right
sense
here
at
in
all.
America again.
I went to the store one day and I was looking at fish, and I think it was catfish and tilapia. I was just looking at it, and on the package it had from China. I'm like, are you serious? From China? We can grow our own fish here. Why do we need to get their fish? It's like, does it taste better? No. It's like, come on, America, come on. Produce the stuff here, buy our own stuff. Now, of course, farmers are looking at that market and saying, hey, we can produce a lot of rice, because we happen to produce, I think, more rice in China, especially in Arkansas. This place called Stuttgart, Arkansas. They have this rice mill called Riceland, and they produce tons of rice. But still, I mean, a lot of these jobs, manufacturing jobs and things, can be brought back to America. And then we can sell out to them. We got to rethink this. So yes, the timing, I do suspect the timing as to when it happened, because, they're sneaky people. And that's something else I want to correct. We are not blaming Chinese America. We are not blaming Chinese per se. We are blaming the Chinese government. That's who we're blaming. That's who's responsible for this. So when I see the media saying, oh, President Trump said the Chinese virus and we got Americans that are being killed, it's like, wait a minute. Are you serious? We call it the Ebola virus. We call it the MERS because it's from the Middle East. So now all at once we can't say the China virus? It's like, who are the Chinese paying? What the Chinese government, who are they paying to try to spin this a different way? Wake up, America. Don't trust these guys.
The questions President Trump is forced to answer in these serious briefings are just unbelievable. Like yesterday, we had someone say that reports say someone from your administration called it the Kung flu. It's like, you've got one chance to ask a question to the most powerful man in the world, and that's the kind of crap they come up with.
And he shot her down. He was like, who said that? Well, someone, no, I want to know who said it. So that lets you know she was just making it up. She just decided, oh, I'm going to make this up and I'm going to say this. But he called her out on it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so proud when he comes out.
I've been enjoying it.
Oh, they hate it. Initially, they were like, well, he would never come out. Where's the president? They didn't think he was going to come out. And every day, sometimes twice a day. And now they're saying, we shouldn't show him. We shouldn't show these briefings because he's using this as a rally. He can't do the rallies. I'm like, hey, you guys asked for it and now you got it. And you know he's going to stay there and he's going to talk and talk and talk and talk. I'm like, bravo, Mr. President. And people are able to see that, hey, this guy is on top of it. Hey, his approval ratings have shot up. I mean, 60%. And they're going nuts. They hate it.
Yeah.
Rachel Maddow is going freaking crazy. Oh, I wouldn't show him. I wouldn't show. It's like, why? You're getting it from him, the most powerful man in the world, like you said. You can ask him questions. Now, granted, your reporters are going to ask some of the most stupidest questions. Well, do you think you're trying to use this to help your presidency? Well, no, I'm trying to help Americans. But even if I am, so what? If I am if this is going to help me to be president, so what? This is what happens. In the time of a crisis, people look to their leader. They want him to lead them.
Yeah.
And what he's doing right now, man, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, if they wanted to do themselves a favor on MSNBC or CNN, they need to stop showing Joe Biden because he looks like an absolute disaster compared to the amazing job that President Trump has been doing.
Oh, yeah, a complete disaster. But yet and still, they want people. It's like, well, we want to show you guys what a real leader is like. It's like, oh, you're serious? And, well, you know, Obama. So once this is all said and done, I wonder if they'll still claim this as Obama's economy. Yeah, right.